In today's video, I'll be talking about the economics in neo-noir, particularly in films Chinatown by Roman Polanski and Brick by Ryan Johnson. Chinatown is set in 1938 Los Angeles, a time after the Great Depression. It greatly identifies the problems in the personalities of the characters and overall the problems surrounding the place that the characters live in. Its comparison Brick is also set in California but in a high school in the modern day. Even though it's set in a high school, through the usage of students and teachers, Brick successfully shows the problems with its surrounding place, as well as the personality problems of the characters. In Chinatown, we follow a hard-boiled private investigator, Jake Getz. We see his life change throughout the film, and the change begins when we see him meet Evelyn Mulray. Evelyn hires Jake in order to find if her husband is cheating on her. Her husband being Hollis Mulray, the chief engineer for the city's water department. The film in general has realistic, hard-hitting colors, which makes the film more dramatic. Brick is also very similar to Chinatown in terms of plot. We follow a high school student, Brendan. His detective story starts when he sees his ex-girlfriend's dead body in a sewer. He goes on a journey that changes his world forever. His desire to know what happened to his ex-girlfriend and to find the murderers leads him into a drug network that is inside his high school. He enters a world of drugs and paid thugs, which is completely new to him. Brick, much like Chinatown, also uses realistic, hard-hitting colors, which makes the audience tense up as they watch the film. Chinatown was released in 1974 and Brick was released in 2005. In terms of their connection to film noir, Chinatown is more similar, but they're still considered to be neo-noir films. Chinatown is considered to be a neo-noir film because even though the general ideas and the time frame suits the film noir's conventions, it still contains aspects from the 1970s. For Brick, as filmmaker says that Brick employs various plot devices and techniques that are synonymous with the film noir style. But the fact that it's set in a high school and the timeline is in the present makes it a neo-noir film. Even though the similarities between these two films are everlasting, their budgets were really different from each other. Chinatown's budget was $6 million, whereas Brick only had a budget of $450,000. The restriction to the budgets of these films didn't make them any less successful, though. While Chinatown earned $29 million worldwide, quadrupling its budget, Brick earned $4.2 million worldwide, which is 9.4 times bigger than its budget. Chinatown tried saving money by hiring one of the friends of the director as a cinematographer. The salary was less than any other cinematographer that would have worked earned, but this change in the cinematographer didn't make a huge change in the budget, thus keeping the money spent on the film still high. On the other hand, Brick was really successful in saving money without sacrificing the quality. The director Ryan Johnson shot the film in his own hometown. The high school that most of the movie takes place in was this high school that he attended to. He used some of the students in the school as actors or background actors in order to save more money. These all benefited him really well because he still shot the movie that he wanted for a cheaper price. Brick was more successful in its earnings because of the time frame that the movie was released. When the UK Cinema Association released the numbers, it was clear that throughout the years people have been going to the cinemas more and more as time goes on, and it's been increasing since the 1970s. There are a couple of reasons behind this phenomenon. Social media is a big part of this change. Since advertising is so easy and cheap, people are more exposed to film advertisements compared to the 70s. Also, the plethora of choices on the internet and the ease that it brings made the cinema experience much more special, with a lot more people enjoying it. In conclusion, even though the movies are really similar to each other in terms of their genre, plot, and techniques used throughout the films, their box office compared to their budget were really different. Brick, in this context, is considered to be a much more successful movie because it made more money from the budget that it had compared to Chinatown. Considering that it has multiplied its budget by 9.4 shows how successful it is. Both of these films are considered to be great neo-noir films, and the reasoning behind this success isn't only their budget. The amount of creative choices Brick took in order to spend less while still keeping the quality high made it a huge success.